Stop resenting other people's success. Hello and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about being resentful when it comes to seeing other people's successes in life. Now, it's important to understand that resentment doesn't hold any clear value. All that does is create unwanted pressure and unnecessary stress and depression within your life. Not only does that seclude you from other people, especially those closest to you, but it stops you progressing internally as well as mentally towards the rest of your life. You're going to struggle to see the successes you want because you're always going to feel that resentment towards other people's success. So it's important to identify if you are resenting other people, to stop that action and that behavior from happening and look towards a solution for you to be able to move forward and see success in your own eyes rather than comparing yourself to other people and feeling that resentment. Now, when it comes to feeling resentment towards other people, that could be anyone. That could be people within your colleagues seeing success in their eyes, in what they're doing with their careers. It could be something to do with your relationships, whether that's with your family, with your friends, or with your partner. Now, a great example of a lot of resentment, especially when it comes to men and finances, is a lot of men tend to struggle and feel resentment towards their partner if their partner is earning more than they are. That is also partly an issue with their masculinity, but it's also something that holds a lot of resentment. And that resentment comes in the form of making actions and behaviors that directly impact their partner in a negative way. You're vindictive of what you're doing towards your partner. So resentment may also come in a different form when it comes to your work. Now, let's say, for instance, your colleague who you've spent a little bit of time with has spent a lot of work in progressing their career, and they get the job that you've been striving for, wanting to aim towards. Now, they get that position and you hold some form of resentment thinking, I should have got that, I deserve that, why do you have that, I want it. And you start to create a rift in your friendship or your admiration towards each other. It changes the way that you communicate. Your dynamics completely change. So we want to stop this idea of resentment in towards your mentality and to stop that happening in your daily actions and behaviors, because that doesn't do anything other than create destruction within your life. So first of all, you have to take a moment to understand what you've been doing recently that may be seen as resentful and may be seen as something as indicating that you are resenting other people and especially those closest towards you. So a good way of indicating that is to think around your friends, your families, your colleagues that you're fairly close to who have had success within their life recently. Now, with that success, what has been your initial response, your initial emotional reaction to that? If a lot of the time you're reacting in a way where you feel that you're angry or frustrated or feel like you should essentially have what they have, you're creating an environment mentally where you are resenting that person. So it's the initial reaction towards somebody else's success is a good indicator to see whether or not you are resentful of that person and will cause some form of rift in your communication and your friendship with that person. So if you are experiencing those things and have experienced things recently, it's important that you reflect on that and understand why you're feeling that in the first place. If you're being resentful of someone else's success, it may be towards the actions that you're doing right now you feel guilty of. Maybe you didn't quite do enough to be able to get yourself into that position. Maybe you're comparing yourself too much to other people and that's why you feel resentful. Maybe it's your habits and the things that you're doing on a daily basis that might be impacting you in a negative way. But we need to address that. So the first step is understanding that, yes, you might be resentful towards other people, and you've done that based off of looking back over the last maybe 6 months or so, and you've seen success in other people's lives, but you haven't seen it. But your initial response when you hear that someone has been successful is you hold some form of anger or resentment. So based off of that, we now try to find a solution. We start to look back in on ourselves and we reflect. It's self-reflection which is the key thing here. Now that we have that self-reflection, we can start to make some habits and changes to change that mentality. So this is a conscious effort to improve your emotional intelligence, to try and improve the way that you manage your expectations and delivery internally, and then make sure that you're not outwardly resenting other people within your life, especially if they are close towards you, especially if they are your partner. You do not want to hold resentment in any relationship, because all that does is create chaos and destruction. So we have that stepping stone of understanding that you may have resentment. If you do, we move on to the next step of self-reflecting on why you're feeling that form of resentment. And then the next step is actually communicating with that individual. You don't necessarily have to, but if you feel that you're close with that person, especially if they're your partner, it's important to express that you're feeling resentment towards them because of this, and this. This allows you to have an open communication to understand why you're feeling those things. Then you can take some steps moving forward. Now those steps might be very, very simple in changing your behaviours on a daily basis. It's having daily communication with that person. It may be having daily affirmations where you are internally receiving positive feedback. You're looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I am successful, I will be successful. I'm doing the right things on a daily basis that's going to bring me success and bring me some sense of purpose and happiness. You're reinforcing some positive affirmations that are going to get you towards the goals that you want. And that's the next step really, is that the reason that you're feeling a certain way about someone else's success is because you feel that you're not improving. So what do we do in that situation? We look back to see what your goals are. We look to see back what brings you happiness, what brings you purpose, what brings you a sense of passion and drive within your life. And we start to work back on that to find some daily actions and behaviours that you can use that influences your day on a daily basis. That's going to change your mentality. It's going to change your physical appearance, the way that you present yourself, the way that you communicate changes. So every part of your life suddenly changes in a way that improves not only your life, but those closest towards you. You can truly appreciate someone else's success without feeling that resentment, and you can move forward with all of those individuals without feeling that unwanted stress within your life. So hopefully that makes some kind of sense and understanding as to how to improve any form of resentment, how to identify what resentment is, and whether or not you're actually doing that. Some stepping stones in making sure that you self-reflect and understand why you're feeling a certain way, knowing that you have to communicate with other people, especially those closest to you, especially if they're your partner, to make sure that you can overcome that issue. And then from that point forward, you start to create some actionable solutions that will get you towards the success that you truly want. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helps. Please like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to the next one.